Hello everybody. This is the Big Bad Anime Channel. My name is Noah. I'm your host. I'm a concept artist, 2D animator, illustrator, storyboard artist. And today we are working on part 2 of the Mecha-sketch that I was working on earlier. And we are getting deep into the battle damage at this point. I hope everybody's doing well, having a great day. It's a sunny and beautiful day here in Los Angeles, and it is a perfect day to make some art. To try something new, do something maybe you haven't tried before, and just see where it'll take you. I think removing some of the stakes or some of the pressure that we put upon ourselves for things to look a certain way or some kind of perfect is a big obstacle for most artists. And letting go of that and kind of embracing a little bit of the chaos and embracing some of the unknown can bring some pretty cool and unexpected results. I'm gonna let you guys in on a little bit of my inner process on how I deal with critique, my own inner criticism. I think we all have that voice, that critical voice. And at least for myself in the past, I've tried to kind of quiet that voice or just not listen to it at all and silence it as much as possible. But as I kept creating and as I kept making art, I realized that critical voice is actually a very valuable resource, is a very valuable perspective, because the world is going to be very critical of our work. They're going to be harsh on us. And that critic might have a point. So I made a kind of drastic or radical decision to give that critic a job. And I kind of put it like this: if you can come with a creative solution, a fix for the problem, you've got a voice, a space, a place at this table. And that critic has actually gone quite a long way to help me improve my art. The key for me, at least, was to bring the critic in at the right time. Because if I was in the middle of the creative process, the kind of like the beginning stages, the blue sky stage of creativity, that critic can actually be kind of destructive. If I'm at the wrong time, that critic can be a little too harsh and make me not want to continue to work. But there will be a stage when I start to see some flaws come forward, start to see some anomalies, some asymmetries, there's things that aren't working. And that's a great time to ask the critic to come in and give his harsh perspective. What isn't working here? How do I fix this? And more often than not, if I give him a voice and give him a chance to just tear it to shreds, he goes away after his job is done. I'm not always having this critical voice, because there's a time and a place to listen to that critical internal voice. And I would much rather have my own internal critic tear things to shreds and I can fix it ahead of putting it out there into the world. I'd much rather hear it from myself and be able to address the problem than have other critics make those valid points and me see it too late. It's already out there in the world. So I found that internal critical voice, as long as I can make sure it's not destructive, it has to still be a creative voice. Critical, sure, but creative and problem solving and have solutions ready to go. And if I can do that, then my internal critical voice is actually a key step in the creative process. And if you've ever had a friend who was just absolutely blunt, or a straight shooter, never candy coated anything, they have a valuable perspective, and they can help you see things that other people maybe gloss over or try to be kind. And there is a time and a place for, hey, what's going wrong here? Let's fix this. The difference is I try to be hard on the work and not hard on myself. Sounds like I'm playing word games here, but there's a difference between being hard on where the work is, where you could take it, pushing yourself, your forms, your characters. And then there's a way of thinking about it like, oh, I'm this, I'm less than, this isn't working out because I'm these things. It's like, no. Give yourself a break, but be hard on the work. There is a difference, I believe. And the difference is the work can take it, the work will improve, and when the work improves, we feel better. We get a boost of confidence, a boost of inspiration. At least most artists that I know, when their work improves, when they find a way to make their technique a little tighter, a little more true to form, that's when we start to feel empowered and start to feel really good about what we're doing. So find a way to make that critic actually a part of the team, and it will do wonders for your work. And I think it'll take some of the pressure off. Because once that critic has a voice, he's not always nagging us. He's not always sitting there. I tell him there's a time and a place, and don't show up unless you're on the shift, on the schedule. The critic is not welcome until he is called for, is the long and short of it. And when I need him, he's very welcome. But until then, go on somewhere and let me create. You'll see later on, there's actually a point, I don't know if it's in this segment, it might be in part 3, where I try to fix the legs because there's some interesting little anomalies going on there, but I had confidence that I'd be able to fix it once I got there. But each thing in its own time, we'll get there when we get there. But I think it's important to give a voice to some of these harsher internal critical monologues that we may be facing as we create. And I find they become more helpful and more observant the more I listen and the more I give them a voice and a time to be a part of this. So if you find that you're having difficulty with an internal critical voice, I say maybe consider giving that critic a job. And that job is to help you. And if you're feeling like you just don't improve, if you're feeling like your work just never gets better over time and you've been working at it, there are a few things you might want to change up. Just to try to see if that actually does some good. What I would recommend is consistency of effort over time. That's why I recommend making a schedule of sorts or having a set time every day or every week that you draw. Non-negotiable. And then that way you've set up a system where you just like a rhythm. This is just what you do. And over time you will see changes and you will see improvements. The other thing that I find very helpful and I would offer as a recommendation for people who are trying to improve and speed up that improvement would be drawing from different references. So if your wheelhouse is drawing people, then try drawing cars from reference, or vehicles, or weapons, or whatever it is, something different, and using photo reference, real photo reference. And it's a great counterbalance to some of the imagination exercises we do. Drawing from your imagination is very, very valuable as a skill and as an activity for an artist and as a discipline, really. But also, drawing from life and drawing from reference is really important because it shows you how things really are and how things really operate, how things really work, not just how you think they work. And you'd be amazed how different they are. And it's okay to take artistic license. We're expected to. But we also should know how it really looks. And we should be reminding ourselves constantly through study work, material studies, all kinds of stuff that we keep in our toolbox. Because when you're caught in a rut or doing the same thing over and over again and you're not seeing progress and you're feeling frustration, it's kind of like being stuck in the mud or stuck on glare ice. And in both of those cases, you can't just gun it. You can't just hit the accelerator as hard as you try to get out of there. You got to rock it back and forth. And the way that I look at that, the way I liken that, is different studies, different ways, different influences on our creative process over time are just going to build different muscles. And this all is just what I've discovered as I've worked, as I've drawn, as I've been a creative in my lifetime. But it doesn't mean this is the way by any means. It's just a way that works for me. Take what works for you. If any of this helped you, I'm very happy to hear that. But if it doesn't work for you, find your own way. This is my challenge to you, to find the way that works for you. If this doesn't work, find something that works better. And it's out there. We all have a different mode of working. We all have a different way of being in the world. But that's what makes us unique, and that's what makes us, for lack of a better word, special. So anyways, this is Big Bad Anime Channel. My name has been Noah. Well, my name is still Noah. And I am very pleased to have you here today. Thank you so much for stopping by, and we will see you on the next one.